Hello and welcome back to the 26th episode of Greek Speaks. Like I said last week, this week we talk Pandora and Prometheus. Prometheus and Pandora, because I'm going to do Prometheus first because that makes more sense. Prometheus is a Titan, and he sided with the gods on the Titanomachy, he and his brother Epimetheus. So pro means before, like the pro in English, and Metheus is it's similar to Metis. So my thinking is his name literally translated is before thought. I'm just wondering if the Metheus and the Metis are somehow connected. Anyway, so Prometheus and Epimetheus start making humans, and all of them are male. And so they make all the animals and all the humans, and Epimetheus gives fur to the lion and claws to the bear, and basically gives all the, useful, quote-unquote, tricks to the animals, and there's only intelligent, walking upright left for the humans. And so Prometheus gives them that, and Prometheus figures out that, they're sacrificing all the good cuts of meat to the gods. And so he tricks Zeus by putting the bones and the, grizzle and all the stuff that we can't eat under this sheen of fat, so it looks really, really good. And he puts all the fat and all the good meat under a pile of just, I think he puts it in, the stomach or something that looks really gross. And so since the fat looks really good, Zeus picks that, and so that's why the humans sacrifice the bones and the things we can't eat, the gods. And Zeus gets really mad. And, he's just kind of grumbling on his throne. And then Prometheus realizes that humans have to eat raw meat, which we can't eat. And so Prometheus asks Zeus if he could give the humans fire, and Zeus, is like, hell no, says no, and is grumpy and whatever. And so Prometheus steals fire from the hearth of Olympus and brings it down to the humans, which is really similar in a lot of mythologies of, semi-divine or divine beings bringing fire from point A to point B. And so Zeus looks down from Olympus one day and sees all these fires popping up in caves and realizes that Prometheus has betrayed him. And so he puts Prometheus on a rock on Mount Parnassus, and every day a vulture or an eagle comes around and eats his liver. And the liver grows every night because he's immortal and it just regenerates. And eventually Hercules is able to come around and loosen him, but it's 3,000, 4,000 years. It's a significant amount of time. Pandora is Zeus's retribution to the humans for accepting fire and kind of following Prometheus's guidance. So again, Prometheus has this brother named Epimetheus. He lives with humans, and he's a good guy, but he's a little empty in the head, to put it nicely. He's very much that person who does the thing before he thinks, kind of thing. Zeus is like, okay, I'm going to make a woman. And so he makes all the gods fashion this woman. Hephaestus makes her out of clay and forms her after Aphrodite. Athena gives her weaving and intelligence. Hermes gives her cunning. And all the gods give her something. And Zeus, or Hera, most importantly, gives her curiosity. And so they bring her to life and dress her, and Hermes takes her down to Epimetheus and says, okay, here's a wife, bye. Before they leave, Zeus gives her this pithos, which is an ancient Greek, usually used for wine, but it was a storage jar, and you can Google them, and they're massive. But he gives her this pithos and says, okay, you can never open this, which of course, her curiosity for the next couple of years is, what's in the jar? Why can't I open it? Why would he have given it to me if, I can't open it? It's eating her up. And eventually Epimetheus is out in the field, and Pandora can't take it anymore. And she opens this jar, and all of the evils of the world fly out. Disease and war and spite and all the really, really bad things. Some versions have death in it, but death is its own, separate entity entirely. His name is Thanatos. So I don't know if he was in the jar. Anger and spite and a lot of like the bad things about life come out, and she shuts it in time for hope to remain. There's also this really good part in Percy Jackson in the 5th book where he's given Pandora's Pythos and against the opposing army, and the person who gives it to him is from the opposing army, and they just say, if you ever want to surrender, you open the jar and give up hope. So that's a really cool connection on required spark because I'm a nerd. Yeah, that's also it's similar to like the Garden of Eden, and there's also some stuff in Babylonian mythology, I think. But it's typically with a story like that, it's usually the society's way of saying this is the reason women are so terrible, and it's kind of a slap in the face when you have something you genuinely care about, like I do with mythology, and it's so different from what you normally do in your society. It's also generally just an explanation on why the bad things in the world are how they are. One thing I was wondering while I'm editing right now, but one thing I was wondering while I was listening to this while I was editing is there any hunt for Pandora's jar or any sort of other mythical things in classical mythology in the classical world? I mean, during the time frame. So were they looking for things from Mycenaean Greece during archaic Greece or classical Greece, like we have with the lance that stabbed Jesus in the side and the Holy Grail and stuff like that? I also apologize for the door slamming in this episode. I'm back at school. I will try to fix that the next time I record. But that is it on Prometheus and Pandora for this week, and as always, if y'all have a certain myth you want me to look at, make sure to leave it in the comments below. Thanks and have a good week.